Hi everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and you can see from the setting, we're down here at the iconic Bolivar Lighthouse here on the point of Bolivar Peninsula. I've got Mr. Lloyd Maxwell with me. Lloyd, thanks for joining us today.
You're sure welcome, Dave.
He's been kind enough, the Maxwell family owns one of the homes here, and as everyone knows, they've started a nonprofit to rework the lighthouse. But we want to give you some history, some family history, some childhood history, and so we're going to talk over the next few weeks, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 weeks, and then we may start another segment, but we're going to let you know what the lighthouse was through Mr. Maxwell's eyes. He grew up here as a boy. They bought it when he was 7 years old, and today we're going to talk about the first trip down here and what he remembers from it, and you'll probably have a good time listening to it. Mr. Maxwell, we were talking for National Lighthouse Day, and you told me about the first trip down here.
Correct.
Reiterate on that, because you said something about a owl house.
The first time that we came down here to the lighthouse was earlier than 1947, because my grandfather had a ranch house just right down the road, about 6 miles. But we never paid a whole lot of attention to the place until Daddy and Mama and Uncle Pat Boyd and Aunt Kathleen bought the lighthouse through the government. The government had sold bonds, and they had to pay off the bonds, so they started selling properties. And that's how they bid on the property and got the property. And that's how we arranged to come down here and see the beach house. And the first time we ever realized what we were getting, Mom and Daddy drove us down here, and we looked around, and these houses had been here since 1915, but they were abandoned after the government shut down in 1933, so there'd been no maintenance on these places at all. And when we drove up to this place, they looked like two big old owl roosts. I'm telling you, the windows were broken out, the doors were off the hinges, there was no paint on the houses, and everything just looked horrible. So we got out here, and everything was grown up with grass. We asked Mama, says, what are we going to do with these places? We'll keep the lighthouse, but what are we going to do about that house? They said, we're going to fix them up. Well, they looked horrible. So during the fall of 1946, they moved the carpenter crews down here and started working on the houses. And they did a remarkable transformation over a period of about 6 or 8 months, I'm telling you. But this was one heck of a sight when we saw it. It did not appeal to us at all.
And the lighthouse came with it. What kind of shape? Because there was more buildings down here, wasn't there? Wasn't
Yes.
there a building for the fuel oil and stuff for the lighthouse?
There was a small brick house, which was a storage shed, and it was right over here to the north side of the lighthouse. And it washed away during Ike.
Oh, during Ike?
Yes.
Okay. So you had spent time down here, but how long did you stay down here the first trip, and how long did it take you to get all the houses rebuilt to where you could actually live in them?
The first trip was just a short trip. I mean, we came down here and looked everything over, and that's when my dad and Uncle Pat got all the carpenter crews lined up to come down here. They used the crews from Grandpa's big canal company.
Okay.
And had excellent carpenters. So they started working, I don't know, maybe a month or two after that. And then when we started coming down here, the houses were just about finished. Well, they were finished, and they'd gotten painted. And we were ready to start moving things down here to move in May of 47.
47.
And the houses had been painted. The painted were red. They were red then.
Was the lighthouse painted at the time?
The White House had, the lighthouse had some white showing through, the original white.
Mm-hmm.
So it was black and white, but it was not anywhere near like it was back in 1900,
Okay.
But anyway, when we got everything lined up in Mother, and then we're going to start bringing beds and things down here, and that's when Texas City blew up in March of 47.
Okay. And now listen to this, Texas City's across the bay, and everyone knows about the big Texas City explosion, but listen in on what it actually does to the Bolivar lighthouses.
The houses, we're about, I guess, approximately 8 miles from Texas City, as the crow flies. When Texas City blew up, it burned all the paint off the west side of both of these big houses right here, and they had to be completely repainted because of the heat from the fire.
What about the windows? Did it blow windows
Blew
out?
the windows out. The windows have been completely replaced, so it blew all the windows out on the west side of the house. And I'm not sure how much more damage that it did. I do know that the lighthouse had quite a bit of damage on the inside. It knocked some of the bricks loose and some of the mortar out of it.
Okay.
But the glass had already been gone out of the lighthouse for years. The people that went down there, they'd take bricks and throw them down on the roofs of the houses and break the tile and everything. And
because they were tile houses.
they were
tile roofs.
tile roof, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Maxwell, thanks for joining us on this first phase of the Did You Know? And we're going to be talking about the Bolivar Lighthouse. Make sure you tune in next week. We're going to talk about cattle drives and maybe have a picture of an old map of Bolivar Peninsula. Mr. Maxwell, thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.